Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things through a common sense lens. And we've said for a long time that the Walt Disney Company is a disastrous dumpster fire, right? It's in flames, the box office has been burning down, the television shows have been failing miserably in the ratings, fans aren't happy, and even the park numbers are a little bit down to where they've been before in the past. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's top of all of those wonderful things out there with the box offices crashing and every single show they put out becoming completely and totally rejected by the fans. Well, it turns out Disney itself is on fire as well, and we mean this quite literally. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time we have seen major problems at Walt Disney World, whether it be Tiana's Bayou Adventure constantly breaking and a lot of times not even opening on time during the day, which me personally, I honestly think I blame on the ghosts of Splash Mountain completely and totally rejecting Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We did a fun little article over that was a grand old time. So I personally blame the spirits over there that are very upset about the rebrand, but there's been a lot of other issues that they've had. Obviously, there's been a lot of backlash against some of their Q stuff and everything else. Well, the latest addition, the latest of evidence that makes a lot of Disney fans out there question whether they not even want to go to the park because of safety concerns. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can't even get popcorn at the Walt Disney World out there without something being on fire. Because as you can see here from thatparkplace.com, another fire breaks out at Epcot. Flames and smoke seen in popcorn cart near Imagination Pavilion. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite literally a hot day over there at the Walt Disney Company. And this is one of them situations where this is not the first time we've seen this happen. There was a video from like the California Disneyland, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 months ago that like one of their little flame things, like one of their little towers that was supposed to be able to shoot off flames and was supposed to look really cool. Like the whole thing literally caught on flames and like literally burned down to the ground practically before they could even get to it. Like it's really, really bad. And a time right now where Walt Disney World is facing major competition from what looks like it's probably going to be the next big hit theme park going out there, Universal Studios, with their Harry Potter Land and their Monster Land and everything other How to Train Their Dragon stuff. Like Disney is worried about a lot of that kind of stuff and it encroaching on a lot of their revenue for their parks. And having things like this happen just shows you how much of a disarray the maintenance and the actual care of these theme parks actually has been. So it would not surprise me at all. This is another big sign of a reason why you should not go to the Walt Disney World in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to check this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,900. We're sailing our way towards 2K once again, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does it surprise you at all that another fire has now broken out at the Walt Disney World, especially over there at Epcot? Does it show you a declining maintenance that makes you unsafe to feel like you go to the park? So do you think this is just another day in paradise and it's bound to happen and everybody is much more hyper reactive and you will continue to go to Walt Disney World because you're just that much of a pixie duster? Let us know what you think about that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description. Think about becoming a member for just less than $5 or less a month. You can help become this channel around, keep this channel around for a very long time. You'll also get your name at the end credits of every single one of our videos and live streams, as well as get access to member streams where you guys can come hang out with me and chit chat about whatever kind of nerdy stuff you guys want to. So please check out the links in the description down below. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Marvin Montanero. And just look at that picture. I mean, that is some gnarly flames going inside that. You can see all the smoke filled up in there. It's just ridiculous. And yes, we do have video as well. There's been yet another fire-related incident inside Epcot. This time, not behind the scenes, but a popcorn cart right in the middle of a guest area. Onlookers watched as flames visibly erupted from the popping chamber with smoke pouring into the air. The monorail-themed popcorn cart was stationed in the World of Celebration, dangerously close to the Imagination Pavilion. So, I mean, literally, if they wouldn't have taken care of this very quickly, this could have been way, way worse. So let's check out the video. White smoke at Disney. A new popcorn bucket has been selected. I absolutely love that. And if you don't know what the reference is to it, boys and girls, we just had a new pope elected over there for the Catholic Church. And when we find a new pope, they throw up white smoke up in the air. So just in case you didn't get that reference for whatever reason. So a new popcorn bucket has been selected over Epcot at the Walt Disney World. Oh, wow. There we go. Here we go. There it is. We'll turn the volume on so you guys can hear it. There's not a whole lot on here going on, but as you can see, hey, shout out to the ladies' U.S. Air Force hat. I'm an Air Force veteran. Shout out. Check that out. But like literally, they're just like walking away, like not my problem, not my monkeys, not my circus. You can see all that smoke coming out, all that craziness. I mean, that thing's just going up. That thing is just going up. It's absolutely insane. Video footage of the smoking cart was captured and posted to Instagram by user Traveling with Robert, who happened to be at the scene as the situation unfolded. The video shows flames and plumes of smoke rising from the area designed to generate the intense heat required to cook popcorn. And this makes me also wonder too, if this guy just happened to catch it and this one just happened to go viral, how many of these videos that are actually out there that go unseen all the time? How dangerous really is it to go to Walt Disney World at this point? I mean, I imagine we'd hear more stuff, but I mean, you talk about percentage ratios, right? Is it a 1%? Is it a 2%? Is it a 3% that you're going to randomly walk by something that's just going to burst into flames? I don't know, boys and girls, but who knows? Needless to say, I won't be spending my money at the Walt Disney World anytime soon. Honestly, if I really wanted to tell you the truth on things, I would love to be able to save up enough money to take all 6 of my kids to the Universal Studios out there, because that thing looks incredible. That new Epic verse is just going to crush the Walt Disney Company. I mean, go check out the videos. It looks amazing. I can't wait. The Harry Potter stuff, all of it, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Open flames were clearly visible in the video, and smoke was certainly significant enough to draw immediate attention from cast members. Several staff members were seen rapidly responding with fire extinguishers. Couldn't really see those in the videos, but maybe there's something out there a little longer. Surrounding the cart and blocking off the affected area. The Epcot popcorn cart fire appeared to have been contained within a few minutes, but the damage was evident. The vent at the top of the cart was charred black, and the clear glass in the popcorn compartment had been stained gray from the smoke, suggesting a fairly intense internal burn. Yeah, what do you want to bet Disney's probably just going to scrap that popcorn trolley, because it's going to be a mess. I mean, if you've ever dealt with like smoke damage or any of that kind of stuff, like those are smells you generally don't ever get out. And do you really want your popcorn smelling or tasting like literal burnt plastic? Probably not. I'd imagine they're going to end up scrapping that cart, which is once again going to cost the Walt Disney Company even more money that they continue to lose and they continue to bleed because of the choices they've made, hiring people based on identity politics versus actual their merit and character. So yeah, Disney, you're kind of getting exactly what you deserve. The cart itself is located on the right-hand side of Epcot near the boundary between World Celebration and World Nature. Though surrounding structure was spared on any major damage, the popcorn portion of the cart is now out of commission. Stanchions have been placed around the affected area and the popcorn machine has been shut down indefinitely. You think? I'd hope so. However, the cart is still operating in a limited capacity. Guests can continue to purchase drinks and ice cream from the undamaged portion. Like, really? You're going to leave it out there for everybody to see? All the damage? Do you not have any spares? You don't have a backup you can go pull out somewhere to replace that thing with? How stupid are you, Disney? You're going to leave your embarrassment, the thing that should scare people about even coming to your park, you're just going to leave it on display for everybody to see. Yeah, the people inside of the parks are real geniuses, aren't they, boys and girls? At the time of the writing, Disney has not released an official statement about the incident, and no injuries have been reported. Well, thank the Lord for that, at least. And it didn't look like it. Everybody got away from that thing pretty fast as soon as they thought it was on fire, so that doesn't surprise me at all. And Walt Disney Company being mum about something that literally is going to get them headlines and cause them even more damage to their park's reputation, yeah, needless to say, they're not going to address it unless somebody from one of the legacy media institutions actually reaches out and asks for comment. And considering the fact that they're always worried about losing their access, they're probably not going to do that. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on the news for you in the next coming days, just in case. But check out this picture from annual pass holders Walt Disney World Resort. A top contributor, Angela Sentence. Something is 100% on fire. And as you can see here, this is the background fire that they were talking about. Like I said, this is not the first time we've seen the Walt Disney Company literally go up in flames. So here you go. This is not the first time fire has broken out at Epcot in recent memory. And this is just Epcot, mind you. This is one of 5 parks or more they have at Walt Disney World in Orlando. And this is the second time in recent memory it has happened. Just weeks ago, a more serious fire occurred behind the Norway Pavilion, prompting evacuations and a flurry of online concern about park safety and maintenance standards. Clearly, that's an issue, right? I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, all right? My grandfather worked at the Worlds of Fun theme park up there. You know how many times I can remember growing up as a kid that actually paid attention to the news and watched it every night with his grandparents at 5 o'clock? You know how many times I can tell you that Worlds of Fun caught on fire and never had an incident like this the entire time I grew up? Zero. We heard about some accidents on the rides, mostly from people like my stupid cousin trying to swap seats and ended up getting injured in the middle of a ride. But other than that, sorry, no fires. And I haven't been there in quite a while, so maybe something's changed. But this sounds like there is a serious dereliction of duty inside of the Walt Disney Company. What, the maintenance guys you hired for your diversity quotas for some reason can't maintain your equipment? Strange concept. It's almost like the same people you hired for your diversity quotas can't write stories or produce television either. I know, weird concept. It's almost like everything woke goes broke and everything that touches woke turns to shit. So yeah, here we are. Now with this new popcorn malfunction, fans are beginning to wonder, are these isolated incidences or a sign of a deeper pattern? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you all know my opinion. This is obviously a result of a deeper pattern, right? This is something we have seen. We've heard from the insiders several times before. We've seen leakers. We've seen secret videos with Disney executives, how they specifically said that the corporate executives put diversity requirements on their hiring. Right? They said that if your section is an X, Y, and Z diverse with this kind of people from these underrepresented groups, you won't get your quarterly bonus. So literally, if you did not hire people based on immutable characteristics, not the content of their character, like Dr. Martin Luther King dreamed of, right? You hired them based on immutable characteristics because they couldn't do the job, because instead of hiring on meritocracy, you hired based on skin color, and now your parks are literally going up in flames, just like your box office and just like your television ratings. Anybody else seen a pattern across the Walt Disney Company under the direction of CEO Bob Iger? Nah, there's no pattern here. No pattern at all. Given Disney's ongoing struggles with maintenance across both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, from broken animatronics, shout out to the ghosts over there at Splash Mountain, to collapsing ceilings, sewage leaks, and unexpected ride closures, the signs of smoke at Epcot is yet another blemish for the company under increasing scrutiny. That scrutiny comes from Disney's ever-increasing prices, with many pointing to those incidences and questioning how the company can justify charging more. We've seen plenty of reports of people taking pictures and videos out there on Instagram and on Twitter and on all the rest of your social media platforms about how, especially like when you go to Disneyland, how trashy the parks look, that there's trash everywhere, which is something that would have been unheard of back in the day, because the whole purpose of all of that kind of stuff inside the Walt Disney Company was, of course, to make it to where when you walked in there, the whole rest of the real world faded away. The point of Walt Disney World was to walk into a fantasy land where you did not realize you were in the real world anymore. None of the nonsense, none of the BS. There was no trash, no homeless people, no drug addicts, none of the things you see in places like San Francisco and Los Angeles. It was supposed to be the perfect image of what America and a fantasy land could be. And clearly the people responsible for the control of the Walt Disney Company right now can't handle that in any way, shape, or form. And like they said in the article, they're only charging more. They have been increasing their ticket prices for anybody out of state. Now, they did just recently, in a sign of desperation, drop it for their local people down to some of the lowest levels we've seen for one-day passes, but that just shows you that, contrary to what they are trying to say inside of their meetings and inside of their little their disclosures to all of their stock people out there, like their investors call. It's one of them situations where despite them saying all of that kind of stuff, it's literally proof that they are having major issues. Now, given the parks might be the most profitable part of Disney, but that's because they've lost billions at the box office and they've lost billions on their streaming television shows. So needless to say, yeah, the parks are the most profitable, but that's not exactly saying something. And after Universal opens this summer here very shortly, I will be very excited to see come next year how much of a drop from one summer to another Disney's parks were after the opening of Universal Studios. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Whether it's an overworked infrastructure or simply equipment failure, one thing is clear: these issues are becoming too frequent to ignore. And that's an absolute fact. I mean, we've talked about this. We haven't talked about these a whole bunch, but we've talked about some of these in the past. But I see these all the time. If you join me Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. for our morning prep, you'll see a whole bunch of news that I go over that doesn't make it into these videos. And we have seen these kind of incidences happen time and time again. We've seen the footage. We've seen the pictures of the trash, of the fires, of the fights, of just everything being a disaster, all the rides that have been broken, right? Animatronics that are left unfixed for days at a time that don't work. This is something you would have never seen at Walt Disney World ever in the past, but under Bob Iger's tutelage, under all of the rest of the executives that have decided to implement diversity quotas inside of their hiring practices inside of the company, and then lay off a whole bunch of other people or flat out run off the actual talent you had. I mean, have you seen the Imagineering department? Look at that Cars Land. Isn't that something you just can't wait to run up and see? I mean, it looks like nothing more than a desert with a go-kart ride on tracks. You can literally go right down the street and actually ride real go-karts and actual real dune buggies and have a much better time for a way cheaper price. I'd imagine most of the good Imagineers left the Walt Disney Company and went to Universal based on what we're seeing, because Universal now looks like the glorious things that the Walt Disney Company at their resorts used to do. This is a sign of the times. Not only is Disney's box office on fire, not only are their ratings in the toilet, but their parks are literally catching fire with customers around to video and see that. That is a sign of a consistent issue inside of the Walt Disney Company. And until there is leadership brave enough to come in and purge the activists, things will never change. The movies will continue to decline, the television shows will continue to decline, and the parks will continue to be set on fire by shoddy maintenance and people who don't know how to do their jobs. So Bob Iger, I hope you get a bunch of backlash and a bunch of questions about these continued failures at their parks, because you, sir, have done this. You are responsible for these practices and hiring these people. And this embarrassment, once again, more egg on your face, Bob Iger, is exactly what you deserve. After all, you dance with the devil and you're bound to get burned.